Meet us at the Norwegian Startup Forum 2025.
So, I now change to English. I go away from bærekraft. This is what these goals are about. The 17 Sustainability Development Goals are about balancing these three economic systems. And they are to be done in view of a timeline, because sustainability is about to sustain something. So this is not invented by me, it's just careful reading. So what are the objectives of this sustainable economy? Well, to sustain the ability of business ecosystems to create economic welfare. To sustaining the ability of societal ecosystems to create human well-being. And none of this is invented by me. This is all there in the literature. And lastly, sustaining the ability of the environmental ecosystems to support human needs. Why we have these objectives? The climate changes are, as well as limitations on critical resources, call for rapid transitional changes, because we need to make these balances. Societies depend on soft and hard infrastructure. What are we without hard and soft infrastructure? Would we have phone? Would we have schools? No. So we need to reinvest from the capital we make. And without capital, not much is done. Did this give you a new insight to sustainability? I hope so. Because this is what sustainability is about. Three economic systems seen in view of to sustain. It's time dimension. Now, what does this all create for us? And if you look at PhDs, they talk about extremely complicated systems, impossible to understand. There is no logic. But there is a logic. And this logic is that we now have sustainability dynamics working into business dynamics as we used to know them before. We have three dynamic systems connecting in to business dynamics. Look at the two screens if possible. Natural resources. Sustainability and natural resources. Does that ring a bell for something? Ukraine, natural resources. We have a lack of natural resources. In fact, China controls now 70% of the critical natural resources. So what will we do without that? We are very much focused on ecosystem services. These are in the environmental domain. We have the societal resources, both soft and hard. And businesses need to look at how they can create value more efficient and more effective, and how they distribute wealth. And this introduces a new dynamism to our businesses, to our societies, and opportunities for the environment. We treat it as something we need to report on. How can we fight this? In Poland, they are hiring legal advice. In Norway, we are making a mockery of how to report. Minimal viable standard, not product. But these new conditions are an opportunity to create new sustainable business with new competitive advantages aligned with the new opportunities. So I will be now more specific. How can Norway capitalize on this? The waste hierarchy. What do we usually see in Norway? What do we focus on when it comes to recycling or waste or circular economy? What are we looking at? We are looking at recovery or recycling a little, that's juice shops, but mostly recovery and disposal. Is that really sustainability? Look at the top of these two. What is the top one saying? Prevention. Prevention means don't create the problem in the first place. It's very simple. So we are in very different pyramids in Norway compared to what EU and United Nations are using. So, my suggestion, it doesn't exist today. Let's make a washing machine that lasts for 40 years. We had it before, and we don't need a new washing machine every year or every 5 years or every 10 years. And those who make these washing machines first, they take the market. It's very simple. They take the market. Because you won't need to buy a new washing machine every 8 to 10 years. My mother had one of those. AEG Tournamat, lasted for 40 years. We have had refrigerators lasting for 40 years. And then some people will say, yeah, but what about all the people in the shops? They need work. Yeah. Service for reuse. So change the shopping mall into a service place. Use technology in this washing machine. Modularize it with smart technology. This is self-diagnosing. It tells this module is gone. Take out that module, put in a new one. Design for sustainability. This one. We have a lot of trees in Norway. And tree is stored CO2. We also have a culture from the old days that we can cut down the trees, take them down into the fjord, take them to a place, and use the wood for something. So, we can build houses, module-based, pre-designed, our timber, put on technology, put them on ships, ship them worldwide, and have a service agreement. Can we do this in Norway? Yeah, we can, because robotized production is very easy. If you look at this house, it has a roof that lasts for 50 years. It is pre-designed with heating and solar panels. Just 2 ideas, very simple. I can talk about this for a week. All the things we can do, because now there is a time for reset. How do we do it? And now I know I have some very heavy IT people here in the front, and you're going to say I'm wrong. But we start with business process architecture. That is not IT. It's the business. We plan, we source, we make, we deliver, we sustain. We make that design. Business processes. It was known as business process reengineering and killed by the software vendors in 2007. Then it became business process management, BPM. Business process reengineering is where we design the entire value network. And you know what? When we have all the processes, we have all the sustainability performances. So we can actually report auditable real numbers on our sustainability performance. Then we make an information architecture. That's the next step. How do we do that? Well, we have the business processes. The business processes have inputs and outputs. We link them together, we push a button. And with today's technology, we can have pretty much what we need with a push of a button. If we make this in UML for these very tech-savvy people, and then we push a button, and then we get the next level. This is what Google did. Non-proprietary. Difficult thing to say. Then, next is the applications. What applications can we use in this information infrastructure architecture? Where do we start in Norway? I've been involved in Norway since the beginning of the century. We start with application. We find someone who can tell us what do we need, we buy that, and then we change into that. I was working for Intel. We were reinstalling SAP. They had installed SAP, this was in the US. Nothing was working as we wanted from a business perspective. We redo it. We put Accenture on one side of the corridor, and on the other side were the business process designers. We designed the business, we went to Accenture and we said, we want this, but SAP cannot do it. Okay, thank you. Then we moved on. This we can do. We have the knowledge in Norway. So, thank you for your attention.